claims refuting. Exaggerated claims about the collapse of Las Vegas have been made by CIRCA casino owners. Travel doesn't collapse, revenue is still huge, and everything, according to them, is not as bad as what the press says. But if that's true, why are hotels and casinos so empty? CIRCA, a $1.2 billion project, was once hailed as the twist to the revival of downtown, where technology, lighting and luxury blend to bring Fremont Street back to its heyday. It is promoted as the symbol of the Vegas futuristic of a city that knows how to regenerate itself after a recession. But just a few years later, CIRCA became a bitter testament to the saying, "Not everything that sparkles is gold." Revenue plummeted. Rooms are available every night. Investors who once proudly called this revolution are now silent. There are thousands of workers who have sweated under the neon lights of that billion-dollar dream is gradually being abandoned in the middle of the desert. They are the ones who believed that a new Vegas would open up opportunities for them, but ended up finding themselves lost in a game that only the rich would win. In today's video, we're going to explore why Vegas' $1.2 billion symbol is in a crisis and the real price is being traded to keep those lights shining. Vegas was originally built from lavish fantasies, and perhaps CIRCA is the brightest future dream that Vegas bets on in 2020. CIRCA is the first completely new structure built in downtown Las Vegas in more than 40 years. Started in 2019 and opened at the end of 2020, this project was once described by the media as Vegas's biggest gamble in the 21st century. With a total investment of over $1 billion, CIRCA is expected to become a game that reshapes Central Vegas, bringing a breath of modernity, dynamism, and boldness to the area that has lagged so long behind the Strip. Design aimed at a group of young visitors, adults only, more than 600 rooms, 7 stadium swim pools, all-day DJs, and especially the world's largest sportsbook. A memorial to the belief that Vegas can still regenerate itself. But then, fate chose the cruelest time to test that dream. CIRCA opened in the fourth quarter of 2020, right in the middle of a global pandemic that has paralyzed tourism. Cancelled flights, frozen events, almost zero international arrivals. The Las Vegas tourism industry fell to a record low, to the point where some people called it the experience of the past. CIRCA was born to welcome the crowd, had to open in silence again, among rows of empty tables and staff waiting without knowing who would walk through the door. When Vegas reopens, it seems CIRCA will have a chance to revive. But reality is colder. Huge operating costs, power for LED screens, sound systems, water for swimming pools, personnel salaries, quickly outstripped revenue. Meanwhile, tourist behavior changes rapidly. Young people switch to online betting, and middle-aged customers either chose luxury areas on the Strip, such as Resorts World and Fontainebleau, or left Vegas because of unreasonable prices. Resort fees, parking fees, food prices, beverage prices, all make Vegas trips a privilege for the rich. According to the latest 2025 data, CIRCA's room occupancy rate is only about 76%, down nearly 7% over the same period, although the hotel still tries to keep prices high to protect the brand. Revenue per room plunged double-digit during the summer, to its lowest level since opening day. Downtown struggles to compete with flashy projects on the Strip, gradually being overshadowed in the media and in the eyes of tourists. Even the plan to open more than 100 new rooms in 2024, once seen as a bold expansion, is now becoming a financial burden, as guest numbers do not increase, but maintenance costs are getting heavier. An elderly guest, who used to be a loyal fan of Vegas, shared his feelings in regret. "I remember 10 years ago, I felt like a millionaire when I came to Vegas. Now I just feel scared when I look at the bill. Previously, I came once or twice a month. It's 6 months now and probably won't come back again. Please bring back old Vegas. CIRCA, a child born with $1 billion promise, has become a living testament to the fragility of the modern Vegas fantasy, where everything can shimmer, except the belief that that aura still belongs to humans. And when the prosperous picture of billion-dollar corporations began to show cracks, it was the workers, the hands that once built that light, who were the first to be swallowed by darkness. One of the first changes after CIRCA went live was the Culinary Alliance business model, partnering with external brands instead of operating internally as before. It sounds reasonable, but it causes employees' living and working costs to skyrocket. The days when Vegas was known for its cheap buffets, free staff meals, and free parking are a thing of the past. CEOs still speak in the media in an optimistic tone. Everything will change, the sky will not collapse. But with more than 1,000 employees here, the sky has begun to crack, from hours of work cut and wages are limited every day. According to statistics from Indeed, CIRCA is only rated 1.75 stars, by employees one of the lowest in the industry. The worst categories include promotion opportunities, salaries and benefits, and work balance, lives. The perks that were once a Las Vegas tradition, like staff dining rooms and free parking for all staff, disappeared at this new resort. Unless you're a manager, you have to pay $50–60 USD month to park your car in your own place of work. With no dining room left, staff were forced to bring food or buy it in an expensive tourist area. With a salary that does not increase, each lunch suddenly becomes a burden. After the pandemic, when guest numbers dropped and shifts were shortened and tips plummeted, many employees had to find more temporary jobs to pay rent. Las Vegas, which is city sleepless, now has an urban unemployment rate of around 5.8% in 2025, is among the highest in the country, and the majority comes from the travel service sector itself. A 59-year-old technician shared, "CIRCA used to be the pride of downtown. But now, just hearing the name makes people feel hopeless. Even opening more than 100 new rooms in 2024 was once hailed as a bold move in the midst of difficult times, did not help improve the situation. In contrast, arrivals to downtown declined faster than the Strip, making operating costs even heavier. Frontline people, bartenders, technicians, housekeeping staff, became the first victims of that decline, struggling in a spiral of debt and unemployment without knowing when they would be able to escape. Many people used to believe CIRCA would be a place to help them stabilize after the pandemic, a job with a future. But now, they're stuck in a loop, reducing hours, lost jobs, debt, looking for new jobs. No one talks about them in sales reports or magnificent PR posts. However, they are the ones who truly built the Vegas dream, and they are also paying the price when that dream gradually fades away. The CIRCA story shows a simple yet heartbreaking truth. A city can only exist as long as its workers survive. When the neon lights were still on, but the hand that lit them had left, the Vegas aura was just a beautiful cover from afar, but empty in the soul. If the people who lit Las Vegas now struggled in the darkness of the city they created, what else would neon light mean? How long can a city continue to shine as the people who keep it alive fade away? While the LED screens of Stadium Swim, CIRCA Resort and Casino remain bright throughout the night, reflecting the image of a prosperous and vibrant Las Vegas, just a few hundred meters away, another reality is unfolding. Under bridges and access to central Clark County, rows of tent cities sprang up with no architecture, no signs, just nylon panels, a few trash cans for tables, and the quiet gaze of the people who once belonged to the system have now been left behind by it. According to the PT Count 2025 report, the city currently records about 7,906 homeless people, of which more than 53% live entirely outdoors. Notably, a large proportion of them were former hotel, restaurant, and casino employees in fields that were once considered the economic mainstay of Las Vegas. Meanwhile, rents have increased more than 20% since 2020, leaving low-income workers who depend on hourly wages and tips unable to maintain stable accommodation. From a city that symbolizes opportunity and a life-changing dream, Las Vegas is gradually becoming a mirror of social breakdown, where the American dream is wrapped in a makeshift tent. Police sometimes appear to maintain order, but the majority of these areas remain out of control. Cleaning up the tents only creates a temporary shift from one street corner to another street corner without addressing the root causes: escalating cost of living, stagnant wages, and a welfare system that doesn't keep up with reality. While visitors are engrossed in taking photos at Fremont Street, few realize that they are standing between two worlds. On one side is a lavish entertainment symbol, and on the other side is the dark area of those who have lost their roofs. When a municipality begins to have more tents than houses, it is no longer an individual problem, but a warning sign of the imbalance of the entire system. From housing crises, tourism declines, to labor cuts are all connecting into a chain of causes that result in thousands of workers being pushed to the sidelines. The question is no longer who is wrong, but how long will we continue to ignore? In that bleak picture, some organizations are still working to maintain the remaining humanity of the city. United Way of Southern Nevada, or Catholic Charities programs, have coordinated with large businesses to provide shelters, vocational training support, and free food for the homeless. These efforts are small, but they are a reminder that saving Vegas cannot stop at billion-dollar projects, but must start with restoring dignity to the very people who helped build it. Does the light of a city still have meaning when it only shines on the makeshift tents of the people who served it? And if Las Vegas were the mirror of America today, would we dare to look directly at the image that appears in it? Las Vegas is a city built on gambles, but not every hand has a winner. When CIRCA Resort and Casino opened, it bet not only on technology or design, but on the very vision of the future of Vegas tourism. Ironically, that hand turned out to be in the wrong direction. CIRCA chooses a risky strategy, branding adults only plus sportsbook, targeting a narrow customer base of who are mature, passionate about sports, and willing to spend big on betting. During 2019-2020, when sports betting exploded and downtown was expected to revive, this strategy was considered a genius gamble. But just a few years later, the world has changed faster than CIRCA can adapt to. The decline came not from a collapse, but from a series of smoldering fluctuations. International travelers, top spending group, plummeted as weak CAD exchange rates caused Canadian arrivals to decline, while flight costs from Europe escalated. At the same time, Nevada's sports betting market reached saturation, as many other states legalized online betting. Players don't need to go to Vegas anymore, they just need a phone. Meanwhile, the domestic tourists, who were the group that kept Vegas alive after the pandemic, began to look tired. They complained that room rates, resort fees, and dining costs in downtown were no longer commensurate with the actual value. With CIRCA, this is especially dangerous. Brands born to premium positioning are now considered too expensive for the experience received. As a result, RevPAR, revenue per available room, in summer 2025 decreased by double digits, although average room prices remained high. CIRCA internally faces not easy decisions: tightening the budget, postponing upgrade plans, cutting staff, and focusing only on short-term incentives to maintain liquidity. Some once bustling areas are now closed alternately to save operating costs. The problem is not that CIRCA is weak, but that the world has changed direction faster than it has. While the new entertainment models, from experiential travel, immersive art shows, to online casinos are constantly taking over the spotlight. CIRCA still puts its faith in the old formula: bright lights, loud music, and cheering crowds in front of huge betting screens. It underestimates the rate at which technology can change consumer habits and overestimates downtown's ability to revive in the post-pandemic era. CIRCA's story is a testament to a modern economic paradox. Sometimes failure comes not from weakness, but from believing for too long in a model that was once correct. Vegas used to be built on the aspiration of thinking big, but in an era where people are moving towards moderation and sustainability, perhaps giant hands are no longer the answer. However, there is still another path. Many experts suggest CIRCA can learn from the direction of brands like MGM Resorts or Caesars Entertainment, focusing on restructuring the visitor experience to diversify the customer group, expand services beyond the casino, and enhance hybrid model between entertainment, technology, community. Only by placing faith in people instead of just probability can CIRCA find a new direction for itself. In a city that lives on gambles, is there a limit to confidence when every market rule is changing every day? And if today's success can become tomorrow's mistake, who will be alert enough to know when to stop playing? Las Vegas used to boast of being the city that never sleeps, where every building, every light, every casino is part of the massive spin of the American entertainment economy. But in that complex system, just one piece of the puzzle shakes, and the entire structure can be shaken. And in 2025, CIRCA Resort and Casino was the first link that caused the domino effect to spread throughout downtown Las Vegas. According to a mid-2025 report by LVCVA, Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority, average room capacity in Las Vegas decreased significantly, with the downtown area experiencing the sharpest decrease. Revenue from tourism and accommodation in this area decreased by nearly 8% compared to the previous year, while the Strip area, thanks to a stable number of international visitors, still maintains balance. This is not just a decline of a few hotels, but a signal that Vegas Old Central is losing its vitality. Rapid diffusion consequences. The number of visitors walking around Fremont Street decreased by 12%, causing small chains of shops, eateries, souvenir stalls, and also taxi and streetcar services that depended on the district to record significant declines in revenue. When visitors take less walks, they also spend less on the life-sustaining cycle for downtown that begins to break joints. A salesperson shared, "We used to be open until 2 a.m. Now 10 p.m. is enough to know how empty that day was." Changes in leisure behavior contribute to the aggravation of the situation. Revenue from iGaming and online casinos across the United States increased nearly 29%, proving that players are at home instead of flying to Nevada. As the world enters the digital entertainment era, the model that came to Vegas to play gradually loses its advantage. With downtown depending on each real visitor, that blow is no different from a redistribution of profits from humans to algorithms. Not only the center, satellite communities around Las Vegas, such as Henderson, Boulder City, and Primm, are also affected. Employment in the service sector declined, while the cost of living and renting remained rising. Many residents describe the feeling of living in a city where economic confidence is evaporating day by day. Small businesses that rely on tourists flocking to downtown have to cut working hours and even close. That domino effect shows. CIRCA is not just a declining building, but a symbol of a shaky model. When a center loses traction, the entire downtown ecosystem from hotels, restaurants, bars, to taxi drivers is pulled along. CIRCA's weakness is therefore no longer a business's own business, but a matter for the entire city where all successes and failures are tied like bricks in a chain reaction. In that context, tourism experts believe that Las Vegas needs to redefine the role of downtown. Large corporations such as MGM Resorts and Caesars Entertainment have begun investing in a revitalization strategy that focuses on developing local cultural experiences, arts, and events to pull people back to the center. Because no casino will last long if the streets around it have become deserted. When a billion-dollar building can shake the whole neighborhood, is Las Vegas's development model too dependent on big bets? And if each rebirth begins with the loss of identity, how many times can this city start over? After a series of gloomy days, Las Vegas is looking for a way to save itself. As the statistics continuously signal a decline from visitor arrivals, studio revenue, to people's trust, tourism organizations and local businesses have been forced to look back. What makes a city exist? Profit or human trust? Faced with that wave of wobbles, LVCVA, Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority, launched the fabulous 5-day sale campaign in an effort to be more urgent than promotional. A series of hotels simultaneously reduced room prices, launched sightseeing ticket incentives, and transparentized resort fees to attract domestic guests back. CIRCA also joined the campaign, offering up to 50% off room rates, giving away F&B credits and entertainment tickets, with the goal of restoring the feel of real-life value that middle-class Americans lost when they arrived in Vegas. No longer a race for luxury, this is an attempt to regain trust with sincerity. However, academics and tourism industry experts understand that promotion is only a temporary measure. UNLV Tourism Innovation Lab warns that Las Vegas needs a deeper reconstruction, shifts focus from short-term revenue to long-term trust. Their report proposes a hospitality with purpose model, putting the human element back at the heart, taking care of employee welfare, respecting customers instead of maximizing costs, and restoring the relationship that once made up the city's identity. Some downtown hotels have begun to change in this direction. They restored the traditional buffet, reopened the small betting table, reduced the LED volume, and replaced it with live music, recalling the memory of old Vegas, where guests and staff also called each other by name. Those moves are small, but a signal that Las Vegas has begun to learn a lesson from CIRCA's failure, that a city cannot be saved by promotion, but only by honesty. CIRCA, while still buckling under debt pressure and low revenue, is becoming the reverse symbol of hope. It proves that in the age of illusion and ostentation, what remains to hold visitors back is not the light, but the belief, the only thing that cannot be bought with money. Maybe, from the place that once represented that decline, Vegas will find a way to live more authentically with itself, not as an entertainment paradise, but as a city of people who know how to stand up after every gamble lost. If trust is a city's most valuable asset, will Las Vegas have the courage to rebuild it? From people, not from the balance sheet. And as the lights gradually go out, is what remains bright here the will to survive of those who still believe that Vegas deserves forgiveness? Maybe Vegas will never really die, because a city is not made up of just concrete, lights, or gambles, but of people who still believe that tomorrow can be better than today. CIRCA, the billion-dollar symbol of a brilliant period, may have lost its aura, but it was in that failure that it exposed the simplest truth. All light will fade away. Only faith can be reborn. Today, when the statistics still paint a cold picture, what's still warm is the small efforts. An old buffet reopened, an employee finding a job again after the layoff season, or a middle-aged guest returns to Fremont Street just to see if Vegas is still itself. Those seemingly trivial things may be the beginning of a more real, more human, and more sustainable Vegas. Can this city find the lost soul, not with lights, but with honesty with itself? And if Las Vegas was ever built on the desire to change lives, would today's generation dare to dream of a new Vegas dream, where human value is placed higher than revenue? If you believe that the real light of Vegas is not in the neon lights, but in the resilient people here, leave a like, share this video, and subscribe to the channel to continue our journey to discover the real side behind the American dream. The content in this video is developed for the purpose of analyzing, commenting, and providing aggregate information, not representing any organization, business, or government agency. All facts, data, and citations are compiled from publicly available sources, industry reports, and independent research materials that are highly reliable at the time of implementation. Some of the comments and assessments in the video are social reflections, observations, and analysis, not absolute statements or formal conclusions. The video is not intended to defame, criticize, or accuse any individual or organization, but rather aims to evoke awareness, reflection, and fair dialogue about the transformations of contemporary social, economic life in America.